first of all, what exactly is DeepSeek? So DeepSeek is an AI startup founded in 2023. So not long ago, maybe just 1.5, 2 years back. And one other thing is that this is not a startup in traditional sense. It's not like this startup has born out of some VC funded company or something like that. It's actually a side project of a Chinese hedge fund. So there is a company called Highflyer, so which is a Chinese based quant trading firm. So they have around $8 billion in assets under management. So this company already had GPUs that they were using for trading. So as a side project, engineers at Highflyer have started developing models and using it. So that is how DeepSeek was born, right? So in a traditional sense, it is not a startup born out of some people, but it's actually a spin-off of a hedge fund. And what is so special about DeepSeek is that they are at the forefront of releasing open source LLMs. So let's say if you look at ChatGPT, if you look at Claude or maybe other models, so these models are all closed source models. You can only use those models through their chatbots or through their APIs. But these models are something that you can download, you can play around with, you can fine tune it, you can do anything with them, right? So DeepSeek actually specializes in releasing open source LLMs. And one thing about these models is that these models are exceptionally good at coding and math, right? So since this model is coming from a quant trading firm, so we could probably expect that is there, but these models are generally very good at coding and math. And they also say in mission statement that they are going to make AI more accessible and cost effective. So if you look at the releases that they have had before, so they are surely contributing to this aspect. So they are making AI more accessible and cost effective. And everyone got to know about DeepSeek through various like they have seen very at different places. So one such thing happened last week is that so it became a top free app in Play Store, right? So if you look at if you go even now, I guess if you go to Play Store or App Store, so you actually find DeepSeek as one of the most downloaded app, right? So one misconception that people might have is okay, ChatGPT has been around for 2 years. Maybe apps like Perplexity or even Copilot by Microsoft have been around for 2 years, little less than 2 years, but yeah. But how did DeepSeek come out of nowhere? Right. So this is actually a misconception. This is not actually true that they came out of nowhere. But in actuality, as I mentioned, they were founded in the year 2023. And DeepSeek R1, the model that is gaining all the popularity, is not their first model. So they have actually released a lot of models. So if you look at this was a tweet that I found. And I have been following DeepSeek for more than a year myself. So I have used their very first model also. So I have been using their different coder models and other version 2 models till now. So DeepSeek is not a new company, and DeepSeek R1 is not their first model. So they have been releasing stellar models. So they have been releasing stellar models for over 1.5 years now. So DeepSeek R1 is probably their 10th or 11th model or something, right? So the misconception about they coming out of nowhere and releasing is wrong. So they have been developing and they have been very, very good at releasing models for over 1.5 years now. And the real turning point came when they have released their new model called DeepSeek R1. So what happened exactly? So this company has been around for 1-2 years. So they have been releasing models. But what happened was on 20th Jan. So on 20th Jan, which happens to be the day when Trump took over White House, it also happens to be my birthday as well. But otherwise, DeepSeek has released DeepSeek R1 model, and they have announced that their model is on par with OpenAI's O1 model. So O1 model is the best model that is available in the world today. So you can only access this if you paid $20 or $200 subscription to OpenAI. And they claim that they have created a model out of China with very little resources, which is going to beat O1 model, right? And one other thing that they have done is they have open sourced it. So it's not a closed source model that someone owns. So you can actually download this model on your system. You can use it as you want. You can build on apps on top of it, or even you can build some technology on top of it and sell it to someone as well. So they have released this DeepSeek R1 model, which is causing a lot of waves, right? So what is so special about this model? So let us try to understand what this model is exactly, why is it special, and what do we get to do with that. So DeepSeek R1, so the model that was released on 20th Jan, not very long ago, just 10 days back, right? So DeepSeek R1 is an open source model with 671 billion parameters. And it is a SOTA reasoning model. SOTA actually means state of the art. So state of the art means the top model. So the number one model that is there. So they have released this state of the art reasoning model, and which is actually scoring some crazy numbers in maths and coding. So OpenAI best was around 95% or 94%. But this company out of nowhere has generated a model that is actually beating O1 model and other top models like Claude Sonnet in their own game, right? And as mentioned, this is an open source model that you can download and use it as you want. So if you want to look at how significant this is, so you can actually look at this graph also. So currently, DeepSeek R1 model, it's a free model, and it is available for everyone to use. So you can look at the numbers as to how this model is performing. So there are different benchmarks. So let's say AM, so this is a maths benchmark. So this is a coding benchmark, and MMLU is general reasoning benchmark. So there are different benchmarks that people have ran these models on. You can see the first line is actually DeepSeek model, and the second one is O1 model, right? So you can see that DeepSeek and O1 models are head to head in almost all of the cases. And even in some cases like maths or even in coding, you can see that O1 model is better. Sorry, R1 model is better than O1 model, right? And one more thing that I wanted to mention is DeepSeek R1 was released in this year, but just in December, they have also released one wonderful model called DeepSeek V3, so which was a competition to GPT 4.0 model. So the thing is, we have this company from China, so that has released two wonderful models in the span of 1 month. So R1 model, which is a competitor of O1 and other models. So we have a DeepSeek V3 model, which is a competitor to GPT-4 model, right? So two models in a span of 1 month, fully open source, anyone can use it. So these are the things that are happened. So this is a backstory of like what the company is, what is the model that they have released, and how all of this is working. So but you might ask me, okay, people keep releasing models. So a model is released. So maybe next month some other company releases some other model. So this number one game is something that keeps going on for a while, right? So OpenAI releases something, some other company releases something better, then someone else will beat something else. But so what? So you might say, okay, DeepSeek has released world's best model, but what's so special about this? So the speciality is that they have like Andre Karpathy, so one of the famous researchers in AI, says that this model was built on a joke budget. Joke budget is basically this model was built just for $5 million, which is closely equivalent to, let's say, 40 crores, right? So if you compare with how much money OpenAI has spent on GPT-4 model. So GPT-4 model, approximately people say that it costs anywhere between 100 to $200 million, right? So here there is a company that has built a state of the art model with 1/20th of the cost, right? So the idea is, yeah, so few reasons why this is very significant is they have built this at 1/20th or maybe 1/30th of the cost that OpenAI or other companies is taking. And the other thing is, let's say if you look at companies like Meta, OpenAI, or something, so these companies have bought a ton load of GPUs from Nvidia and other companies, right? So they have purchased around 100,000, 200,000 GPUs. So some millions of GPUs are being purchased from Nvidia and other companies. So people have believed that if you want to train a state-of-the-art model, you will need hundreds of thousands or millions of GPUs. But this model, they claim that they have trained it only on 2000 GPUs. So the reason why NVIDIA stock crashed, so if I want to show you the graph also, you can see this. So I keep posting regularly on LinkedIn, so try to follow me. Okay. So you see that NVIDIA stock has been down by 17% just in one day, because everyone says that to train AI models, you will actually need hundreds of thousands of GPUs. But here is a company that has built it for just 2000 GPUs. So this is something that this is one of the reasons why NVIDIA stock price crashed. And they also say that they're affordable. They are also giving an API. So if you want to download the model, you can download and use it. Or if you want, you can also use it through their API. So their API is only costing around $2 per million tokens. So in comparison, OpenAI's model actually costs you $60 for the same thing. So it's like 1/30th cost. So let's say, as a company, if I want to develop an AI application today, and for my API cost, if I'm using an O1 model, so let's say I'm having to spend 30 lakhs. So if I'm using an R1 model, I'm only spending 1 lakh. So let's say spending 30 lakhs on API is out of reach of many companies, right? So, but maybe 1 lakh is something that many can do. Or maybe you might not even want to spend this much, but you get the point, right? So you are able to develop something which is at a fraction of cost and better quality. And they have also released multiple distilled versions. So they have taken the 600 billion parameter model and they have divided, or maybe they have compressed into different sizes also, and different sizes around a 1.5 billion parameter, a 7 billion, 32, 70, and so on. So they have released around 6 different sizes of the models also that you can download and play around. And it's completely open source and free to use. So any company, so as of today, your company can download this model and create a chatbot on it and give it to your users. And you can download it on your own environment. You don't have to purchase, you don't have to send your data to some external company or anything. You can process everything by yourself. So this is the background of why this model is getting all the fame, why NVIDIA's stock price crashed, and why is OpenAI, Microsoft, and every other big company scared because of this small model, because of this small company.